When you were 8 years old, a single summer vacation felt like it lasted forever. Now, entire years seem to vanish in what feels like weeks. This isn't just your imagination, there's actual science behind why time accelerates as we age. And the explanation will completely change how you think about your life. Welcome to the mirror theory, a revolutionary explanation for one of humanity's most universal experiences. Psychologists and neuroscientists have finally cracked the code on why time perception changes so dramatically throughout our lives. The answer lies in how our brains process new information versus familiar patterns. Here's the breakthrough discovery: your brain measures time based on how much new information it processes. Children's brains are constantly forming new neural pathways, processing every experience as novel and significant. A single day for a child contains dozens of firsts, new words, new faces, new sensations. This creates rich, detailed memories that make time feel expanded. But as adults, our brains become incredibly efficient. We've seen it all before. The drive to work, the morning coffee, the evening routine, these familiar patterns require minimal mental processing. Our brains essentially go on autopilot, creating fewer distinct memories. When you can't remember individual days, weeks blur together, creating the illusion that time is moving faster. There's also a mathematical component that's mind-blowing. When you're 10 years old, 1 year represents 10% of your entire life experience. But when you're 50, that same year is only 2% of your lived experience. Your brain literally has a smaller proportional frame of reference, making each year feel less significant compared to your total life story. Neuroscientist Adrian Bavon discovered that our brains process visual information slower as we age. The neural networks that once fired rapidly become more deliberate. This means we're literally processing fewer mental images per unit of clock time. It's like watching life at a lower frame rate. Fewer distinct moments means time appears to pass more quickly. Ancient cultures understood this phenomenon intuitively. Hindu and Buddhist traditions speak of different qualities of time, not just chronological time, but experiential time. They recognize that consciousness itself shapes temporal experience. Medieval philosophers wrote about lived time versus measured time, understanding that human perception doesn't align with clock measurements. Emotions play a massive role in this phenomenon. Stress hormones like cortisol actually alter time perception, making negative experiences feel longer while positive, flow-state experiences seem to pass instantly. This is why a boring meeting drags on forever, but an engaging conversation flies by. Our emotional state literally rewires how our brains measure temporal duration. Research shows that attention is the key variable in time perception. When we are fully present and engaged, time slows down. But when we're distracted or multitasking, our brains don't encode rich memories. This is why you can't remember what you did last Tuesday, but you vividly recall your first day at a new job. Attention creates the memorable moments that make time feel substantial. But here's the empowering part: you can hack your time perception. Deliberately seek new experiences. Take different routes to work. Try unfamiliar foods. Learn new skills. Travel to places you've never seen. Each novel experience forces your brain to pay attention, creating the rich memories that make time feel expanded and meaningful. Mindfulness practices can literally slow your perception of time. When you focus intensely on present moment sensations, the taste of food, the feeling of breath, the sounds around you, your brain creates detailed, memorable experiences. Meditation practitioners often report that mindful moments feel extended and rich, even though they last the same clock time. The mirror theory reveals that time isn't speeding up, your brain is just becoming more efficient at filtering familiar experiences. But now you know the secret. By consciously choosing novelty, practicing presence, and creating memorable moments, you can make your years feel longer and more fulfilling. Time perception isn't fixed, it's a skill you can develop. The question is, will you use this knowledge to reclaim your sense of time?